In this video, you're going to learn 13 idiomatic expressions to help you have more success in the IELTS speaking exam. Let's get started. Okay guys, in this video, I'm going to help you spice up your vocabulary by not only teaching you some idiomatic expressions that you can use in the IELTS speaking exam, but I'm also going to help you understand when is the best time and the easiest time to use them. So let's start out right away. The first idiom I already mentioned, it was spice up, which just means add a little bit more personality, add a little bit more flavor, make what you're saying more interesting. So we're going to spice up your spoken vocabulary in this video. Let's move on to part one of the IELTS speaking exam. So the first two idiomatic expressions I'm going to be teaching you, you can use them at any part of the IELTS speaking exam, but I like to teach my students specific idioms for specific parts of the exam where it just makes more sense to use them. And in part one, we're often talking about hobbies or food or things we like. And these two idiomatic expressions have to do with frequency. So how often or how rarely something happens or we do something. So let's move on to the first one. The first one is few and far between. This idiomatic expression means something is uncommon. So an example sentence for how to use it would be, rainy days during the summertime in my city are few and far between. And again, it just means it's not very common. Okay, so we start off with a thing that is uncommon, rainy days, or in your case, maybe it's something different. So right now, think about something that is uncommon in your city, and then complete the sentence with the idiom. I'll give you another example. Mild days during the winter in Canada are few and far between. It's more common in Canada to have colder days during the wintertime. So what's something that you can say is uncommon in your city? Okay, so that's the first one. The second one relates to the first one, and this is why I like to teach this way, because I'm not teaching my students ever one idiom. I'm always trying to teach several that are related to the same theme so they can learn to use many at one time. So I can save you time. So the second one is a dime a dozen. A dime a dozen means something is common, which is pretty much the opposite of our last idiom. Okay? So I live in Montreal, and if you've been to Montreal, you'll probably know that there's lots of beautiful women. So I could say, beautiful women are a dime a dozen in Montreal. No matter where you go, you see stylish women all over the city. Okay, so we start off with the thing that is common that we're talking about. Then you'll say are or is a dime a dozen. And then you can add a little more details, again, to just show the examiner that you can extend your answers and give a nice developed sentence. So what's something that is quite common in your city? When I was in Seoul, Korea, there were coffee shops everywhere. So I could say, coffee shops are a dime a dozen in Seoul. You'll find them on every street corner, even if you aren't looking for them. Okay, so those are two great idioms you can use in part one of the IELTS speaking exam. Not that you can't use them in part two and part three. It just makes a lot of sense to use those for a lot of topics in part one. And at this point of the video, I just want to caution you with idiomatic expressions because they're fun to learn and they're fun to use. But the funny thing with the IELTS speaking exam is sometimes people know they should use them and they go to learn them, but then they don't know how to use them and they put them in the wrong place or they use too many of them. And it's kind of like a meal. Like if you prepare a nice dinner and it's an okay dinner. It's not gonna be, you're not gonna sell it at like a 5-star restaurant or anything. but it's a good mid-dinner. Then all of a sudden, you put a ton of the wrong kind of spice on it or tons of salt on it, you've ruined your dinner. It's the same thing with idiomatic expressions. We don't want to use them unnaturally. We don't want to put too many so we sound weird. The way to use them is just to use them in the exact right place where they should go, and aside from that, leave them alone, which may sound a little tricky, but this is why I'm teaching you specific instances when you can use it. Okay, so let's go on to part 2. In part 2, I teach idioms around 3 different themes. The first theme is location. Something that is close to us in location physically, or an event that is going to happen soon. And there's 3 specific idioms I'm going to teach you, and they all mean the same thing. So you're learning 3 sentences at one time. It's great. So the first one is just a stone's throw away. Something is just a stone's throw away. My mom's house is just a stone's throw away from the cinema. She can walk there in under 5 minutes. Or if we're talking about time, I could say, my mom's birthday is just a stone's throw away. I need to get her a gift soon. Okay, so a specific location is close to us, or an event is close in time. The next 2 idioms I'm going to teach you mean the exact same thing. So the first one is within striking distance. Think of it, it's so close you can hit it. Something is within striking distance. Okay, so my neighbor's house is within striking distance. I just open the door and go outside, and there she is. Okay, the house is right beside our house. It's within striking distance. Or your band 7 in the IELTS exam is within striking distance. Keep studying until you get it. Okay, this achievement in your life is very close. Don't give up. And this brings us to the third idiom that has the exact same meaning, which is just around the corner from. Something is just around the corner from. If you think in terms of a city or a suburban area, we mean it quite literally. My friend's house is just around the corner from me. So I go down the street, I turn, and there's his house. But we can say it in a non-literal way. We can say, oh, my older sister's birthday is just around the corner. I better book my tickets so I can go visit her soon. It's close in time. Something is close to us physically or close in time. Okay, so there are 3 idioms that you can use to talk about a location or something happening soon. So now you try in the comment section below. What is something that is close to where you live? Which idiom are you going to use? Are you going to use it's just a stone's throw away? Are you going to say it's within striking distance? Or are you going to say it's just around the corner from? I like these expressions for part 2 of the IELTS speaking exam because a lot of the cards they give you with the topic in part 2 will have the bullet point where it happened or where it occurred or where you met them. And whenever I see the word where, it reminds me of all 3 of these expressions, and a little alarm bell goes off in my head telling me, hey, Kieran, this is a great place to use that idiomatic expression. It fits perfectly. Okay, let's go on to the next few idiomatic expressions. The first 2 both have to do with positive feelings or having a great time. And the first one is have a blast. Or in the past tense, had a blast. You can use this to talk about an event you went to where you had a great time, or you can use it to talk about an activity that you did or are doing and you're having a great time doing it. So let's do the event first. I had a blast at the hockey game last night. I mean, I had a great time at the hockey game last night. Or if I want to talk about an activity I did, I could say the same thing, but just change the structure a little bit and say, I had a blast playing hockey with my friends. It was such a close game. I can't believe my team lost. But still, we had a great time playing. Okay? And the second idiom, again, means the exact same thing. So I want to give you two weapons every time I teach you one of these idioms. You can use A, or you can use B, or you can use both of them and not repeat your vocabulary in the exam. So the second one is, I had a whale of a time. This one sounds a little bit more old-fashioned. I can't say I use it, but it means the exact same thing and it would fit in perfectly, and it's perfectly fine for you to use in the exam. So, for example, I had a whale of a time at my cousin's wedding. The music was fantastic, the food was delicious, and everyone had a great night. I had a whale of a time. Or, if I want to talk about what I did at the wedding, I could say, I had a whale of a time dancing at the wedding. The music really got me in the mood to show off my dance moves on the dance floor. And if you know me personally, that's not going to happen. These next three idioms are all related to the cost of an item. Everything in life has a dollar value, and oftentimes it's more than we want to pay. So, the first one is, it costs me an arm and a leg. It's quite a dark idiom. It's like you had to lose your arm or your leg to pay for something. Of course, we're not meaning it literally. We're just meaning something is expensive, but you may as well take off my arm because it costs so much. Okay? So, my trip to Jamaica a few years ago cost me an arm and a leg. The plane ticket and the hotel stay alone were more than my whole month's salary. Something was very expensive. It cost me an arm and a leg. Alternatively, if you want to say it, but you're not comfortable with the dark idiom, you could say, it cost me a small fortune. So it's a lot of money, but it's not a huge amount of money, but it's still more than I want to pay. Again, my trip to Jamaica cost me a small fortune. The hotel and the airplane were more than a whole month's salary. Okay, so what costs you a lot of money in your life? Think about that for a second. I'm going to give you the third idiom related to something costing a lot, and that one is, it put a dent in my, then you can say wallet or savings. Okay, so this one's a little bit different in how we structure it. We're going to say, my trip to Jamaica put a dent in my savings. I had to take out more than I wanted to. Or, my new car put a dent in my wallet. I don't physically mean there's a dent. I just mean I lost a lot of money because this car costs so much. Okay? So, yeah, my new car put a dent in my savings. I'll be paying for that for years. So, there you go. 3 idioms about something costing you a lot of money. And again, you can use this in any part of the IELTS speaking exam if you want. But for me, it's often more practical in part 2 because we may be talking about like a house or a vacation or an expensive item that you bought. And all those topics, you'd be able to fit this idiom perfectly into your 2-minute presentation. Okay, the last idiomatic expression we're going to do today is about negative feelings. Something annoying you. Something making you a little bit angry. And I find most of my students really have no problem using this one at all. It's a very natural tendency to complain no matter where you live in the world. So let's learn an expression to help us do it. The expression is, it gets under my skin. If you think of a small piece of wood, a sliver, how it gets in your skin and you can't get it out and it hurts and it's really annoying, but it doesn't hurt that bad. It's kind of what it means. It gets under my skin. It hurts me a little. It's annoying. Pisses you off, right? So It gets under my skin when my wife and my daughter finish the ice cream without offering me any. Don't they know how much I love ice cream? Or, it gets under my skin when there's construction going on outside and I'm trying to sleep. It's infuriating. Okay? So what is something that annoys you in your life? Think about that for a moment. Okay? The second idiom means the exact same thing. The next idiom I'm teaching you is, it rubs me the wrong way. Again, it means the exact same thing as it gets under my skin. For this idiom, think about a cat. If you pet a cat, they like it if you pet them from the head down to their tail. But if you go the opposite way, they don't enjoy it. Okay, so it rubs me the wrong way when my phone starts ringing and I'm trying to record a video for social media. Why does my mom always call right in the middle of my recording? So let's try out that one now, the one about bad feelings. Which idiom are you going to use? It rubs me the wrong way, or it gets under my skin? And in the comment section right now, try writing a sentence about something that annoys you in your life. Okay, so my example was, it rubs me the wrong way when my mom calls me and I'm filming a video for social media. What gets under your skin or rubs you the wrong way? Okay guys, so I just want to share an IELTS speaking tip with you. We've already talked about how too many idioms or idioms used the wrong way do not help. This is why I'm giving you concrete examples about how to use them, as well as specific times in the exam for you to use these expressions. So a few and far between, a dime a dozen, part 1. Idioms about location or feelings, part 2. These last two expressions you can use in part 3 of the IELTS exam when you're talking about your opinion on something and you kind of have a split opinion. You can think of it one way, but you can also think of it the other way. So the first one is, it's not a black and white issue. I'm saying it's not a simple subject. I can think of it in many ways, right? So if the question was something like, do you think robots will replace teachers in the future? I could answer, well, it's not a black and white issue. On one side, I do feel that AI is improving and the abilities of robots keep becoming more and more impressive as time goes on. But at the same time, I feel that a human being has an emotional connection that will probably not be able to be reproduced by AI or by a robot. So I really think it's hard to see teachers being completely eliminated from the classrooms by robots. Okay, so it's not a black and white issue. It's not a simple question. I can think of it in two ways. The next one is very similar. I'm going to say, I'm on the fence about it. Okay, literally, you can imagine yourself, there's a fence and you're sitting on the middle. And on one side of the fence is opinion A, and on the other side of the fence is opinion B. So I'm on the fence about it. It's hard for me to just say yes or no, because you can think of many scenarios where it could be either yes or no. So guys, if you found this video useful and you'd like a nice organized PDF with all the expressions in one place and some examples about how to use them, there's a link in the comment section down below. You can click it and get it completely for free. Or if you're on Chinese social media and you want this video, I'm going to offer it in my WeChat group. So you can just join it. The link or the group name should be in my video, or just send me a message and I can tell you how to get it. So I hope you learned some useful IELTS speaking vocabulary that will help you spice up your answers in the IELTS speaking exam. And remember, a little spice used in the right way makes a delicious meal. But too much spice or too much salt and you're going to ruin it completely. In the next video, I'm going to share with you 5 common mistakes that people make in part 2 of the IELTS speaking exam. So see you in the next one, guys, and I hope you found this very useful. Bye-bye.